You should probably get started on that.
I saved the changes. Like in the queue there for Word, it's still showing, but when you click on it, it says no longer available. And I had to rush out to this because I said, when it opens, the second graph opens, it's all the old second graphs. So I said, okay, I'll close Word back, open Word back, I'll look both in the Word queue, but the Word queue is the one when I click on it, it says it's not available. Change the name on it. Clicked on it, and a different version. Now I have two files with the same name in the directory. It says Bob's secretary. Another file says Bob's secretary. So I figured one of them's got to be right. Well, one of them doesn't open.
Welcome everybody to Power Up Your Marketing. So glad that you can all make it. Everybody together here with us. Hope you're all enjoying your breakfast, and let's get this show on the road. My name is Michael Goins. I'm the graphic designer for Pickering and Marketing with Greensboro, and I also do a little bit of pre-press services, getting everything ready for the machines as best as possible. I try to do my job as clearly as I can. Hopefully I've done well for the past year that I've been here. But over here to my right is the rest of the employees of BIP. We've got Keith White, our general manager. Tabitha White, she is our inside sales, web to print. She does social media stuff. David Parker and Lauren Newton are our outside sales consultants, also marketing specialists. And Alan and Christine Mims are the owners. And somewhere hiding around here is Mark Hildbrand. There he is, back there. He is the business management consultant for Franchise Services. And we'd like to give a special thank you to Vicki Whitmore of Michael's Cafe for catering for breakfast, and Debbie Miller of the Deep River Event Center, and Chandra Parker, or she's hiding, for being our photographer this morning. The order of events that we're going to go is first we're going to have our presentation from our guest speaker, and we're going to have plenty of visual aids, but we'd like to draw your attention to our campaign overview back here in the back. Browse over it when you get a chance. It's sort of the birth and life cycle of these kinds of event plannings. Second, we're going to have a question and answer session. And third, we're going to have our drawing for prizes. And David Robideau here is the Vice President of Marketing for Franchise Services, the holding company for PIP and Sir Speedy. David is a communications and marketing graduate of California State University at Fullerton. He has more than 20 years of experience in sales and marketing, with expertise in integrated marketing, web development, and search engine marketing and optimization. David's done marketing work for several companies prior to working for Franchise Services, including First American CoreLogic and New Horizons Computer Learning Centers. David.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll bet your competition wishes they were in this room. And the reason they likely do is that they're maybe not necessarily thinking about growing their business the way you are. The reason that you're likely in this room, I speculate, is that you're interested in growing your business. How many people, just to do a show of hands, and I'll ask you to raise your hands throughout the presentation, helps me gauge where people are at in various aspects of their marketing. How many in this room are in the role or have the responsibility of growing your business? Should be every hand in the room. I start this presentation off that way is that there's a shared goal here. In challenging economic times, this is the time to secure and win market share. This is not the time to hide underneath your desk and wait for the storm to blow over. Certainly the media is not doing any of us any favors these days. But the reality is, in a down economy, the best time to market and capture market share is when the rest of your competition is hiding underneath the table waiting for things to blow over. Well, there's a lot going on from a marketing perspective with changes in new media and options that you can choose from. And so in today's presentation, I'm going to walk you through a little bit around the evolution of media, some new technologies that are coming out, some that have been out for a very long time, and then I'm going to show you hopefully a couple of new things that maybe you have or have not seen. Now, what I will tell you is that for some of these media types, they've gone through a significant evolution. Television, as an example, is no longer the medium that it used to be. A broadcast is narrowcast today. How many people in this room have been on YouTube in the last 3 days? It's close. That's the way the world is working today. Media types are changing very, very rapidly, and as they adapt, we need to adapt our messages to our customers. So hopefully this morning is not death by PowerPoint, which I can assure you it won't be this one. It's not PowerPoint, it's Keynote for Apple. I am an Apple zealot, so you will hear me talk about Apple ad nauseum, and hopefully I walk you through what will be an engaging presentation that will get you thinking about your business, get you thinking about media opportunities for your organization and how you can grow your business. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got quite a few things to show you visually on the screen. Feel free to ask questions if you have those. If it's something that's more involved, I may table it and ask you, let's talk about it after the event if you have further questions you'd like to ask. But once again, I will survey the room quite often throughout the presentation. I appreciate your participation. I think it helps everybody around you to kind of know where people are at. So let's go ahead and get started. Once again, my name is David Robideau. I'm Vice President of Marketing for Franchise Services. Franchise Services is the holding company for PIP and several other brands. I get a chance to come out and work with a lot of our owners around the country that own a PIP business and have been in business for a long time. And you can't find a finer group of folks than PIP here in Greensboro. They do an outstanding job, and Alan and Christine Lins, phenomenal owners, very progressive folks that do a lot around marketing. That's about as pitchy as I'll get today on behalf of the MIMS, but I think you'll find you can't find a finer group of folks to help you grow your business. So changes in media are essentially driving a marketing evolution. You look at the technology that's out there today, you can't find a media type that's not been affected by technology. You're just seeing a lot of changes going on. And so let's visit a few of these today. So what happens, what mediums are the best to deliver your message today? If you look at those media types that are out there, what are your options that are available to you? Do you use direct mail? Should I use email? Should I be on TV? What about radio? Hey, I heard the last time I checked that social media thing's probably not a fad, right? It's not going to go away. You got to be engaged in doing that. A lot of choices, a lot of confusion out there. It wasn't that many years ago you could choose one media type and succeed in that. You can say, you want to know what, we're a company that's dedicated to television, or we're very committed to radio advertising. It works for our business. Not so much the case these days. You can't just choose one media type and have success necessarily. More and more companies are engaging the concept of integrated marketing or cross-media marketing, where they engage the audience across multiple media. So the question really is, when you start to look at these different media types that are out there, you start to think about your business and which ones are working for you, which ones have you tried, which ones used to work, don't work so well today. A lot of options. So although marketing technology is evolving, communication principles remain the same. How many people in this room are familiar with this message, this statement, the medium is messaging? You ever heard that before? See a couple of hands in the room going up. This is 1964, Marshall McLuhan. If you're in a communications, advertising, getting a degree in advertising, you pretty much can't find a university or school that in the 101 communications class does not pay homage to this statement that was made by Marshall McLuhan. And really what it meant is that the medium is the message, and I would like to offer up that as the medium changes, that means messages have to change. They can't stay the same. You need to consider the medium in which you're marketing in and decide how the appropriate medium and how that affects the medium is going to change the message strategy. I'll give you a great example. If you look at social media today, social media, as most of you know if you're engaged in it today, you cannot be very pitchy when you're in social media. It's all about sharing an experience, communicating with people, having a two-way exchange. That media type in particular is very much a non-pitch type of media type. You can do a little bit in there, but not nearly as much as you can in other mediums. Once again, you have to consider the media type you're in. And so there's been a lot of evolution going on. So what happens when these mediums change? The message has to change. You've got to change your message now to reach customers today. Messages that used to work before and used to work for those media types, not working today. Having challenges growing your business. Lead generation. How am I attracting new customers? Cross-sell and upsell. How am I selling more to my existing customers or providing them with ancillary services? How do I make them aware of those offerings? What about customer retention? A few issues with that today. More and more customers now price shopping you, right? Now looking at where they can get a better value. How do you retain current customers? Then above all of that, now all of a sudden your customers, you need to start considering marketing performance and how marketing performance affects your campaigns, because you need to be more judicious with your investments. So today's top marketers are rapidly integrating their messages across multiple media. And as I mentioned before, most marketers today that are out there trying new things are finding out that it isn't one marketing medium that works. It's the use of multiple marketing mediums and ensuring that you tailor that to your audience that are most effective. So the shift is towards more personalized, more relevant marketing, or really a two-way exchange. You heard me mention that about social media. I think that's very applicable, though, when you start to look at other media types today. How many people in this room, if you own a business, support a business, work for a business, are concerned about what people are saying about you online? Everybody in the room. Now reviews on Yelp, on Google, and everywhere else, now critically important. It wasn't that many years ago you didn't have to worry about that. Different game today. So relevant marketing is the art of understanding your audience so well that you can speak to them in a tone and with information that precisely meets their needs every time. That is a mouthful. But really what it's talking about is tailoring your message to your audience and delivering it in a time and in a fashion that's appropriate for them. If you really read into that, what are we talking about? We're talking about database marketing. Successful marketers today don't simply send out a blasted marketing message to their customer. They tailor that message to the audience that's out there to try and attract them, draw them in, and speak to them in a language and with a relevant message that's going to resonate with them. So let's start to kind of dive into a few of these different marketing mediums and look at what's happening in them. And I'm going to touch base briefly on a few of these, as you can take any one of these marketing media types and turn it into a one-day or a multi-day discussion on each one of these points. So we'll go kind of rapid fashion and just hit some of the high notes of what's happening out there today. In terms of direct marketing, which really underneath direct marketing, you've got to consider direct mail and email as being the primary media types there. Although there are others in direct marketing, any kind of one-to-one I target you, we're talking about direct marketing. In the game of direct mail today, what's happening is that people are tailoring their message through a variety of new technology that goes with direct mail. In the case of looking at some statistics, 22% of all advertising spend is handled through direct mail. Why? It's much more of a rifle approach versus a shotgun approach to reaching customers. As I mentioned before, very few customers going out today saying, you want to know what? I want to go in and mail or send out a direct mail piece, and I want to target everybody. You got to have deep, deep pockets to do that. Not to mention the fact that most of the messages that reach the customer don't resonate with them. How many of you in this room are responsible for managing the databases of your company, the list that you have? Critically important, right? You can be much more effective in targeting your marketing by managing your list. Looking at who's there, what the company is, what message is going to resonate with them, and then trying to put together a marketing message that's tailored to that audience. Direct mail has become much more personalized through the evolution or utilization of variable print technologies, as well as through trackable response mechanisms. What do I mean by that? What I really mean is that if you look at the direct mail that's going out today, the messages can become extremely customized. And in the case of integrated mediums now are commonplace, it's a surefire way to reach people both offline and online. I'll give you an example. You look at variable print technology that's out there today, you have the ability to take a direct mail piece and be able to tailor it to the individual, personalize that, and be able to change out things such as text and imagery that are tagged up against your database. This is really one-on-one marketing at its most principal step. How many people do I have in this room that are between the ages of 40 and 50? General category, willing to raise your hand, right? Okay. So if I send out a direct mail piece and I just assume, okay, you're 40 to 50, and I'm selling cars as an example, what if I just send you out a new message about the new sports coupe? How many of the people in the same room that just raised their hand are interested in sports coupe if they're buying a car right now? Well, I thought you're all in that, that's the demographic. I should just go in and target with you. I found out the age demographic. I figured you guys want a fast car. You kind of, maybe you're looking for some excitement in your life, and I'm going to target you. Mistake. Absolute mistake. I haven't considered how I can tailor my message to my audience. I haven't even considered what you do for a living, what you like to do recreationally, or how far you commute. Tons and tons of variables that as a direct marketer I should be considering so I can make sure I target a direct mail piece to you. If I've taken the time to do that, some of you in this room want a truck. I drive a truck. I own the same truck for the last 14 years, do a lot of work on my own home. And I'm a truck guy. Some people assume that I would want the sports coupe. Not necessarily the case. You make a lot of mistakes out there, and variable print technology allows you to do that. How many of you have seen a direct mail piece like this or have received one that is targeted towards you, includes a lot of times your name in the copy? Some of you have seen that before? How many people are actually using that with your customers? See a couple of hands going up in the room. It allows you to connect with the audience. Not only can you variabilize and incorporate their name, and a few of you are probably sitting there and going, okay, that's cute, great, you can put their name in a direct mail piece. Not only can you incorporate their name, you can change out the imagery. On the back of this postcard, Paul, if you look at Paul, and I don't know how that's Richard, but that goes to show you the mistakes that you can make with a direct mail piece, right? If you're not managing your database, how does that work? But you can change out the imagery, the person's name. You can change the offer. You can test different offers, split your database into, test 2 different offers in the marketplace, see which offer resonates more with the audience. A lot that you can do with variable print technology. If you haven't considered the options with it, I strongly urge you, those of you, and there are several in this room that are managing your database today, you can be much more effective through one-to-one marketing and tailoring your messages. Response mechanisms, tracking response. How many of you hear from if you're not the owner of your business in the room, how many of you hear from either peers or your owners saying, we've got to be more effective in tracking how marketing works? How many people in this room? You get that every day, right? Geez, I got to be more effective. I want to track the responses. There are a variety of ways to track responses today. These are just a couple. Toll-free numbers, call tracking. I'll touch base on that. Talk briefly about personalized URLs. And we'll talk about mobile tagging, which I've seen on a few of the business cards in this room. Mobile tagging growing very, very rapidly. On the call tracking front, very effective, cost-effective today to include call tracking on any of your direct marketing. And I'm not just talking about direct mail. You can put it everywhere. You can put it on a website, include an email. You can set it up to where the call tracking, you put a unique toll-free or local phone number on a direct mail piece or any other marketing medium. When someone calls that phone number, it will record that call. It gives them a notice the call may be recorded for quality assurance purposes, right? We've all heard that before. Will allow you to track the call. Will then provide you with reporting to where you can see who called your business and be able to listen to all the messages. How many people in this room are concerned when the phone rings at your business, you're not sure what your employees are going to say? You think you've done a good job training them, you're not sure. Great, great training tool. Not only will allow you to track your marketing and see what calls you're taking in for inbound calls and marketing, but it will allow you to also train your staff because you can listen to these calls. You click on the little musical note there in the corner and you can click and listen to that. If you haven't considered local or toll-free call tracking on your marketing, I encourage you to do so. The technology is online. It can be integrated with direct marketing campaigns. You can stand this type of solution up very, very quickly and cost effectively, and it can really improve your ability to track. Personalized URLs. How many people in this room are familiar with seeing their name in URLs, such as this example here, John Sample, in this case, .Amarillo Club. You've seen your name in the URL. Anybody in this room? Few hands, quite a few hands going up. Personalized URLs, once again, allow you to target someone with a very personal and relevant message. In this case, that direct mail piece for Amarillo Club wound up going to a page that was tailored, included that person's name, information. They could even have them fill out a survey. In this case, they're trying to drive people for a free lunch for two at the Amarillo Club, obviously trying to get people to sign up for that event. Personalized URLs work, bottom line. If you look at the statistical numbers between a generic URL or a general URL and a personalized URL, it can be much more effective. It allows you to have a more personalized piece going directly to the customer, and it creates customer engagement throughout the entire campaign. Mobile tagging. Most of you know this is QR codes. How many people in this room right now are familiar with QR codes? I've been doing this presentation for quite some time, doing it around the country. A year ago, 4 people in this room would have had their hand up. It has absolutely exploded on the scene. I'll touch base a little bit further down in the presentation on QR codes, respectively. Technically, the category is called mobile tagging, and mobile tagging includes any two-dimensional barcode that essentially creates a bridge between the offline and the online world. And we'll talk about that and how that might be able to work for your business. So in addition to direct mail, you also have email that falls underneath direct marketing. What's going on with email today? I thought it's, it's kind of old hat for some people. Believe it or not, quite a few people investing in email marketing, and that is growing every day. 2011, 31% of chief marketing officers are increasing budgets in email marketing. How many people in this room currently doing email marketing either to current customers or prospects? Almost everybody in this room. Email marketing, absolute perfect companion campaign that should go right along next to direct mail. At the very beginning of the presentation, you heard a mention of that campaign overview in the back of the room. Get a chance to look at it today, maybe on your way out later on after the presentation. You'll see the flow of what Pip of Greensboro did in terms of getting everybody in this room to this event. It incorporated direct mail and email. Email growing rapidly and a great companion to direct marketing, direct mail efforts. Email marketing is being widely adopted both as a primary and a secondary marketing campaign. Now, for some of you, you look at email and you go, wow, cost effective. That's why I'm doing it. I jumped into email because it's cheap. I can do it inexpensively. But a lot of people are finding that the most effective campaigns are the ones that utilize both the media, direct mail and email, and they see far higher response rates by incorporating both media types into their campaigns. Here's a little test for you. Folks over at ProFlowers, most of you know this company. They send out flower arrangements to homes, businesses, etc. And they are absolute masters of testing email marketing, particularly subject line email marketing. I know the guys that run search for ProFlowers, and I talk to my buddy Leif over there all the time, and he's always talking about new campaigns they're doing. And I found this one very interesting. Subject line A and subject line B. Both of these are related to a Valentine's Day promotion. So for ProFlowers, subject line A, the last chance to order for Valentine's is this Wednesday, order now. Subject line B, only 48 hours to order for a guaranteed Valentine's Day delivery. How many people in this room think subject line A was the most effective? A few hands, 4 or 5 hands. How many people, I'm assuming it's the rest of you, think subject line B was the winner? Subject line A, 23% increase in sales. A question is, why? I don't get it. Most powerful words in e-commerce. Order now. Order now can have a drastic effect for those of you that are selling online, or you're selling through a solution like ProFlowers does, where your business has ordering capability. Order now on all of your marketing pieces, not just email, everywhere. So the folks at ProFlowers are absolute masters at doing this, but it just goes to show you, I thought the same thing when I saw it. I said, who's picking subject line A? Guaranteed delivery, right? 48 hours, sense of urgency. It's a good subject line. It just didn't perform as well as subject line A. They left out order now. So those folks have just become masters at testing different subject lines. So for those of you doing email marketing, subject line, critically important to the effectiveness of the campaign. Not only did it affect your open rates, it directly affects sales. You really should consider doing A/B testing, where you essentially have two campaigns out there and you test subject lines, different offers out to your customer, and you ought to have the winning campaign go forward, and then you ought to challenge that campaign again. I have some friends of mine that work for FICO. Some of you are familiar with that company, right? We're all worried about our FICO score. I know the guys that run myfico.com, and they are always testing subject lines, and they will put a challenger up against the most recent winner and try and knock it out. It's literally a game for the marketing department to try and eke out higher percentages of performance. You can find your campaigns much more effective by doing that. 57% of consumers will fill out a card to receive email alerts when asked by the clerk at a local business. How many people in this room are a local business? It's about everybody. You've probably got a couple of national or regional players in the room here. Just ask your customers for their email address. You'll be amazed how many of them will give it to you. Now, I find that somewhat interesting because you always hear people saying how guarded they are about spam and I don't want to share my email. And you do get some of that, but you'd be surprised if you just ask your customers for their email and you communicate in a very straightforward manner that you'd like to send them promotions or information. Would they be willing to receive that? You see how many folks are like, yep, I'm on, I'll absolutely do that. Just don't abuse it, right? The worst example of that is folks over at Pottery Barn. I hate them. I hate them. My wife signed us up for Pottery Barn, gave out our email address. I get an email from Pottery Barn at least once a day, if not twice a day sometimes. Now these folks are absolute email abusers. And when I went to go opt out, as I went down the bottom thing, said, that's it, I'm opting out of this campaign. Up pops the screen and says, would you like to tailor the amount of touches that we deliver to you? Well, shouldn't you have done that, like, I don't know, on the front end of this thing, or gave me the option somewhere along the line? Way too aggressive. That's another thing you need to consider with email marketing. Don't abuse your customers. You may want to ask them, how often is it appropriate to communicate with you? It can really make a difference on the success in terms of sales conversion for your campaigns. So what about the web? This too is not a fad that's going away, right? It's interesting to see how fast things have grown over the web over the last 10 years or so, especially with broadband being the way it is today. I mean, you got phones in your pockets and purses that run faster than computers just 3 years ago. It's absolutely amazing. One of the trends that we're seeing is web to print. How many familiar with that term? Have heard that term, web to print, before? Sometimes people call it online ordering. It goes by several different names. By the end of 2011, 25% of print orders will happen through web-based submission. What do I mean by that? It's creating a portal for your business that essentially allows your employees or other organizations or associated entities to be able to order printed materials online and be able to order those and then have those filled very quickly and efficiently. So companies large and small using web to print to manage their supply chain and print procurement processes. Very straightforward, right? What it's about is it's about managing resources and being more effective with your time, right? Everybody in this room, you've got less time to work on things than you did a year ago, right? Than you did 2 years ago, right? Nobody's got time. This allows you to be able to order things very quickly once you configure and set up your own storefront. I'll give you a couple examples of this to think about. How many people in this room are in the franchise business or you're part of a franchise organization? See a couple hands going up. Folks in the medical space. How many people are in medical? See a hand going up, a couple hands going up. This is an example of a branded storefront. And I'm going to use this example as Buck's Coffee Cafe. Buck's Coffee Cafe, they've got 5 locations, franchise business, And each one of their locations needs to have marketing materials in each one of their cafes. So this is an example of a storefront they have set up on their intranet. It's built right into the background of their intranet for their employees. And so their franchise locations simply go online, log in, and they go immediately to the online catalog for Buck's Coffee. Instead of having to try and call the marketing manager over there, or worse yet, do it on their own, how many people in your office are currently abusing your company logo? They're stretching it, pulling it, twisting it, right? They're doing all kind of things that make the hair go up on a marketer's back. Allows you to be able to put everything inside of a catalog and allow employees or regional offices, or in this case, multiple units, go in and simply order online. If they need to have customer contact sheets, business cards, in-store signage, they go in, and once they go in, they can log in and then go ahead and customize pieces. Here's an example for Be Well Health Centers. This is an example of an online catalog, and this is just a couple of items in these catalogs. I've seen these catalogs built out where you literally have hundreds of different pieces of material. The reason I asked the question on medical, a lot of times in medical space, as much as everybody wants to move everything electronically, it's not been so easy, right? A lot of things still in print. You need a lot of forms and information to capture from customers, as people are coming in to see physicians, etc. Great place to put forms, marketing materials, corporate identity materials, and then once you go in and you click on any one of these, you can go in and you can even customize and personalize it. So if any of you have had an opportunity to work or look at web to print before, you can put business cards in here, put all of your employees' names in the entire corporation inside the system. Employees go in, find their name, loads it in, drops in the information. They proof the business card, hit go, it's printed, shipped directly to them. All of your marketing materials, you can choose different imagery, different headlines, different information, all pre-approved and set up by you, the marketing czar, right, where you're able to control what people can change and alter. Really helps protect your brand, and especially for those of you who have people regionally. Have anybody here that have employees that are outside of the general area here? They're going to be out of state or out of the region. Great tool for setting people up on a portal, allowing them to go in and order the materials. You can even control what they order. You got salespeople that are out in the field. It's not knocking at salespeople. I sold for many years. When you order materials, you're like, oh yeah, I need 1,000 brochures. They really need about 200. You can actually set up how many they can choose to order. You can set up a process where it can hit their division's purchasing orders and accounts. Lots that can be done with web to print. A lot of companies moving to this solution for a lot of their marketing materials and other communications because they can put it through one portal and manage that. A lot of reasons for doing that. Branded storefront, you can configure permissions. You can decide what access people have. Catalogs, templates for reordering. It allows you to control inventory costs. When's the last time anybody printed something around here and a month later it was wrong? Or a day later you made a mistake on a piece? You have the ability to be able to change materials online. So if something's going to become outdated, instead of printing a gazillion of them, you can print a fewer quantity but have it online, changed out, and then print again. Keep your materials fresh. Allows you to integrate single sign-on so it can be attached to any back-end system that you want. If you've got an extranet or an intranet at your corporate office, you can plug in one of these storefronts directly into it, and it allows people to order 24/7. A lot of great reasons for doing it. Obviously, the benefits, I won't walk through all of them. They're fairly straightforward. The most important one for me is managing costs and managing brand standards. It really allows you to control what's going on with your brand and your business. Video. Video has absolutely exploded over the past several years. You look at YouTube, over 2 billion videos viewed on YouTube every day. 2 billion, that's with a B. Now, some of you remember this story. Does anybody remember when Google bought YouTube? They were like the laughing stock. They bought it for an unbelievably huge number. Pundits were running around saying, people at Google had bumped their head. They bought this YouTube thing. I don't know if it's going to take off. They spent a lot of money on it. Right now, it's estimated that YouTube, because it's not set separate from Google's breakout of their financials, about 800 million a year right now on YouTube and growing rapidly. Growing rapidly. How many of you right now are using video to promote your business? Doing that through YouTube? Why wouldn't you? Your competitors are absolutely doing it. If you're not doing video today, I strongly encourage you to incorporate video into your quiver of ammunition that you will need to market to your customers. It can be extremely, extremely effective, especially where we're in an environment right now where people don't have time. They don't have time, or they feel they don't have time. They can click on and watch a video and they get a pitch about your business or your newest product or service, or whatever industry you're in, and they can sit back and they can consume that information. What I mean by that, if you're not doing it, your competitors are. Here's a search I did recently for financial services. What I draw your attention to are people like Ameriprise. These are videos, these are pitch videos that companies have put together on YouTube for their businesses. Now, some of them you can even do paid to where you come up on top. But if you start to go search your business, go search your industry. Just go up, type the most common word you think that your customers would type in on YouTube and run a search. You may find your competitors are there. That's when the panic sets in, right? Especially if they got a ton of views. Well, unless they have cats doing tricks or something, they probably don't have millions of views, but it's likely they're getting eyeballs there. And so I encourage you to definitely do that. You should be aware at all times of what's going on with your competition and what keywords you search for on YouTube. YouTube, second largest search engine in the world. Surpassed both Yahoo, Bing, and everybody else about 3 years ago. Second largest search engine. So what about search? A couple of things you may or not be aware of in search. How many people are familiar with universal search? Maybe you've heard that term in the room? Nobody? So universal search is the proliferation of blended search that acts as a catalyst for broader video adoption. Very straightforward, right? You get all that? I'll give you an example. I'm an active mountain biker. Love Yeti cycles. Been riding those bikes for years. I ran a search on Yeti cycles. You notice something interesting about what's happened with Google over the years. Probably about, I'd say maybe 36 months ago, Google implemented what they call universal search or blended search. And since then, all the other search engines have copied that. And what you're finding is that you no longer simply see web listings, the top 10 on a page. It's not all that you see. You'll notice today that what you're seeing is the incorporation of video, the incorporation of shopping experiences. In some cases, you guys are familiar, if you're running searches out on Google today, you'll see imagery there. You ever done a search and all of a sudden you see photographs pop up, being Google's library? That is universal search at work. When Google implemented that, the idea was to blend multiple media types and search results into the query string. That way when you run a search on a term, you get a blended result. How many of you would like how many of you would like to be able to type in a key product or service that your business has and get that position on Google? You might be able to get there through video. Simply by putting a video together for your business and tagging it with the most common keywords that you think a customer would search for. If they search for it and you come up right here, golden. Absolutely golden. So universal search having a drastic effect on all companies' businesses today. In addition to universal search, there is instant search. And of course, all of you are familiar with instant search, right? Google implemented that about, I guess about a year ago. Everybody familiar with instant search? You are, you just don't know that you are. Let me explain. Anybody started to type in a search on Google, and as you're typing in the words, it used to be that when you typed in the words, you had to hit the button to search, and then the results would come up. Remember that? Well, that's old school. See, now, as you type, Google automatically, every character you type in, it starts trying to assume what you're looking for. In this case, I did a search on the word computer, okay? By the time I got to COMPU, look what's coming up in the search results. Geez, what if you're Walmart? Where's Walmart? Sam's Club, right? Good thing for them. you start to look, one of the ones that's interesting is, if you're CompUSA, you're stoked, okay? Because as you start to type this in, your business is now being promoted. It's saying, is this what you're searching for? Be very mindful of how instant search is impacting your business. You're not going to search for your company name necessarily, like in the case of CompUSA, because it's in their name. Search for what your customers are looking for. Let's say you're in the real estate business. Anybody in real estate in the room? Okay, going up. Someone's typing in property, Greensboro. You'll be amazed, you only get a few characters in, or real estate firm, and all of a sudden, Google starts giving you results inside that box. Something to think about, because you can change what pages come up, what pages you put up on the web to help drive or influence instant search. A lot of changes going on. Now, most recently, not included in the presentation, is Google's efforts when they recently launched Panda. Panda, bear, right? No. Well, Panda is Google's effort to try and thwart link farms that are out there on the search engines. Everybody familiar with shopping.com, DexKnows, other sites that are like that, Merchant Circle? Used to be, if you notice, they used to occupy or dominate the search results pages at a local level oftentimes. Google launched Panda probably about 8 weeks ago. That fast, they're all gone. They got dumped. Google altered its algorithm to eliminate link farms out of the results. Felt like too many companies through link farming were gaming the system and not allowing enough organic results, natural results about businesses to come up. Long term, I think it's a good result for companies, corporations, small businesses. It's a great thing that they implemented that. I will tell you, if you're the folks over at Merchant Circle or DexKnows, panic time. Because when they pulled the plug on this, it was overnight, just disappeared. Results just dropped off. So certainly, most of you know you need to consider Google. Google searches right now close to 800 billion being done every day on Google. That's globally. If you're not on Google, you may not have a pulse these days in business. You absolutely have to be on Google. You've got to be on Bing. You've got to be on Yahoo. You've got to consider the major search engines, and certainly Google is the 1,600-pound gorilla. So what about social media? Fad's not going away. Have you seen the latest statistics on this? When I first started doing this presentation about a year and a half ago around the country, that number was 500,000 people, or 500 million I should say, 500 million people, and people were like, wow, 500 million people. That's directly off Facebook's website. I pulled that up last night. 750 million people on Facebook today. It's not going to go away. The challenging thing is trying to find out how it works for your business, right? That's the million-dollar question. Some businesses, it's very obvious how it fits. I'll give you a great example. Take Dell Computers. If you were Dell Computers and you're out there selling your units and a Dell computer goes south, how quickly do you think a little lowly consumer can do damage to your brand? In a big, big way. Dell deploys an armada, an armada of people that are monitoring all of the social sites all the time, and as issues pop up, customer service issues pop up, they try and quell those. Has anybody heard of United Breaks Guitars? You heard about that? One hand going up. Tell a really quick story. United Airlines, you guys are familiar with them, right? So they had a guy that was on one of their flights and was in a band, and he loaded his guitar through baggage, right? And you know how the baggage people are; they take real good care of your stuff. So he's sitting on the plane and he's watching outside the window as the guys are loading up the plane. He's like, "Hey, here's my guitar." He sees the guys take the guitar, and one tosses. It was like some Fender, Rare, whatever. Sees him toss it over to the other guy. The other guys they're out there laughing as they're loading up the plane. Tosses it back again. He sees the guitar get dropped. He's literally in the window like this. This is a true story, by the way. Well, apparently he goes to pick up his guitar, gets off of his flight, opens up the guitar case, neck on the guitar is broken. So So what does this guy do? Now he goes to immediately to United and says, baggage, hey, you guys broke my guitar. They start giving him the runaround. Well, not only is he a musician, but he's apparently pretty good on YouTube. Because he and his band put together United Breaks Guitars. And it's a cute little song about how United breaks and busts up guitars. Put it on YouTube. You can go search it. And it gets millions and millions of views. It's absolutely hysterical, by the way. And he literally brought United to their knees. To their knees with this video on YouTube. United can't do anything about it. Except for rectify the situation. Had they resolved the situation ahead of time, they wouldn't have a video on YouTube talking smack about it. You know, not to mention the fact they shouldn't be throwing people's luggage around, but the bottom line is that goes to show you the power of social media today. So, and YouTube, by the way, not only is that video, that is social. Absolutely is a social component. How many of you share videos with friends? You see them, they're hysterical, you like them, maybe they're your kids, your grandkids, you poured them on, or it's something you saw, the cat doing a backflip or what have you. It's very much a social activity. Twitter, same deal. A year ago when I was putting this presentation together, that number was 50 million. Now 200 million. You need to consider how social media is impacting your business. Whether you're in the business to consumer business or you're in the business to business business. You need to think about Facebook, think about Twitter, how it impacts your business and where you can play. Oftentimes it's not all about offers and promotions. People don't want to hear about that on social media. You can do a little bit of it, very soft. A lot of times it's about education, sharing information with them about your industry, your space, and educating the customer. A lot less about the pitch. Give you an example of where social can go viral and benefit your business. Koji beef is a hybrid between Korean barbecue and Mexican food. I know, it started in California. It's a weird thing, right? California people are kind of crazy. So these guys, they're Cal State Fullerton grads, happen to be my alum, which is kind of cool, so I can talk about this. But they started this business with this truck. Now, I don't know if you guys have these really sophisticated roach coaches out here now. This has now kind of gone viral around the country. When I grew up as a kid, this was the thing to avoid, right? You didn't eat off of a truck, especially Korean barbecue hybrid with Mexican food. Today, it's very cool. It's all high-end now. In fact, all these trucks gather at different locations, and people go to sample different food. You know, you see these promoted now. I think there's even a show on the Food Channel related to these. So what these guys did, and they are literally the birth of these trucks, they started promoting their business through Twitter. They would announce literally an hour beforehand where they were going to be for lunch that day. You have people in Southern California driving all over the place trying to find this truck. Kind of went viral, created this viral. I mean, I've had a chance to go there. I've had the tacos. They're good. I don't know if they're phenomenal, but I will tell you, the approach they took with Twitter, it just created this, like, we had to know where this truck was. And if you didn't know, you weren't cool. So a lot of people using social media in very interesting ways to drive their business. Don't be afraid to step outside of the box and try something out in the social space. What about mobile? How many people in this room have a mobile phone, mobile device? Is there anybody, I should ask a question in the room, is there anybody willing to raise their hand that does not have one? Okay. Next question. This is not a knock against anyone here. How many people in this room have a smartphone? How many people do not have a smartphone? You'll probably be a convert. Maybe after this presentation. We'll see. These are computers in your pocket. And this is the closest distance between someone's pocket and their wallet, or in the case, ladies, it sits right next to your wallet and your purse. Okay? These phones, some of them are faster now than computers were 3 years ago. And I can't wait because the iPhone 5 is coming out, so I get to get rid of my iPhone 4, as if it's not good enough, right? So they're extremely, extremely fast, very, very powerful, and mobile is growing at an absolutely feverish pace. If you are not thinking about how mobile is going to affect your business, you are making a critical error. And I don't care what business you're in. You can be in the funeral homes business, and I assure you I can make a case for why mobile works. Smartphones now make up 23% of mobile devices. That was Nielsen 2010 last year. I assure you that number is well north of there now, today. 66 million people in the U.S. own smartphones and growing very, very rapidly. And I'm just like you. For those that are holdouts that don't have the smartphones yet, just like you. When I finally had to sign up for the thing and I had to get a data plan, I was pissed. I'm like, oh no. Now I got to pay another 20 bucks for this data plan. I can tell you it's the best money I've ever spent. I mean, I could turn around and find a location on Google. I drove here this morning. I use Google on my phone. If I need to find out where the closest gas station is, and I'm not from here, I'm from Southern California, it'd take me 2 seconds on my phone. I know exactly where it is and how many yards it is from where my rental car is parked in the lot. In seconds, absolutely in seconds, your customers are going to be using mobile in a big, big way, and it's happening at a very rapid schedule. What's happening with media, just to kind of flash back to the beginning of this, if you saw, media years ago used to move very slowly, changes really slowly. You had television, it was all broadcast, next thing you know, you had cable channels, right? You remembers when you had the first few cable channels, you're like, wow, we've got 15 channels now. Now you're like, you still can't find anything, by the way, on TV. Isn't that amazing? You're like, hundreds of channels, and you can't find a thing. But it just goes to show you how things have moved. Now they're moving very, very quickly. You look at mobile, these smartphones, the original ones were called PDAs. Remember that? Yeah. Right? It was supposed to help you organize things. You pull out the little stylus. You'd sit there with your Palm Pilot. Palm Pilot's like dead. Okay? Dead. Absolutely dead. Rapid adoption. Very, very quick. A lot of it owed to the folks at Apple. I mean, the iPhone, whether you're an Apple fan or not, the iPhone absolutely blown the door.